They buried the truth long ago. But Ryan's obsession turned that truth into a nightmare for Nora. It was their wedding night, a night supposed to be filled with tenderness and love. Yet, for Ryan, it became a frenzy of passion that never seemed to end. The long winter night stretched endlessly as Nora endured his unrelenting desire. By dawn, she was exhausted, barely able to keep her eyes open. But when she finally drifted into sleep, a knock shattered her peace. Mrs. Felicia, Ryan's mother, called from outside the room, telling her it was already 9 and that Nora's family had arrived with breakfast. Nora's body ached, her spirit drained, yet she forced herself up. She prepared, smiled faintly, and joined the family gathering, hiding her pain behind a veil of silence. But Ryan was restless. Even as relatives sat together, he signaled her again and again, his eyes commanding her to return to the room. Fear clutched her heart. His words from the night echoed, "My hunger is endless. I'll make this night eternal." She dared not meet his gaze, clinging instead to Mrs. Felicia's side. By evening, during their reception, Nora sparkled in a silver gown, radiant yet hollow from sleepless nights. On stage, Ryan whispered into her ear, "Tonight, you won't escape me." The hook of fate tightened around her. She had no idea that this was only the beginning of a storm that would consume her completely. Days turned into sleepless nights. Ryan's obsession was merciless. Nora's body weakened, dark circles carved under her eyes, yet he showed no restraint. When Nora fell sick with unbearable pain, Mrs. Felicia rushed her to the hospital. The doctor's words struck like thunder. "Your daughter-in-law has internal injuries. Tell your son to stay away if you don't want her to collapse." Shame burned in Mrs. Felicia's heart. Nora, meanwhile, broke silently. Her fear of Ryan grew deeper than love could ever heal. She prayed for escape, but Ryan's anger was uncontrollable. When traditions demanded she return to her parents for a few days, Ryan exploded. He couldn't bear her absence. "You are mine, Nora. Without my permission, nothing happens. Not even your breath belongs to you without me." He stormed her family's house, dragging her back like a possession. But the night that followed became her breaking point. Pain stabbed her body. She cried, begged him to stop. Yet Ryan silenced her with his palm, whispering, "Don't scream. You are my wife, and I decide when it ends." By dawn, her body gave in. She fainted, unconscious, while Ryan kept claiming her as if she were nothing more than an object. This was not love. It was captivity. And the price of this prison was about to be unbearable. The cruel nights continued until fate struck harder. Nora's pain turned into something worse. She was pregnant. For her, it was a fragile hope. For Ryan, it was an unwanted burden. "I don't want a child now," he shouted. "I married you to enjoy my life, not to raise babies." Nora's heart shattered, yet she clung to the new life inside her. But Ryan's cruelty knew no bounds. He forced her against the doctor's warnings, night after night, until one dreadful morning, the doctor declared the truth. "The baby is gone." Nora's world collapsed. She wept as if her soul had been ripped apart. Mrs. Felicia slapped Ryan for the first time in his life, her voice trembling with rage. "Do you even know what you've done? You destroyed your own child, your wife's health, and your family's honor." Ryan, instead of remorse, turned bitter, blaming Nora for everything. As weeks passed, Nora was sent to her parents to recover. Ryan called her endlessly, furious. "You tricked me, Nora. Stop your drama and come back." But Nora remained silent, her tears falling into her pillow at night. What no one knew was that destiny was preparing her for a new path, one that would test her broken heart once more. Time healed her wounds only slightly, but Ryan's bitterness grew darker. He began insulting Nora, calling her barren, raising his hand against her. Mrs. Felicia, once her shield, grew weaker by the day until illness confined her to bed. When Ryan announced his decision, "I will remarry. I need a son, an heir. You are nothing to me now." The ground beneath Nora shook. He divorced her with cold words, and Nora left the house in tears. The shock killed Mrs. Felicia that very night. Ryan remarried quickly, choosing a glamorous woman named Alicia. But fate turned against him again. When Alicia conceived twins, joy turned to fury upon learning they were girls. He forced her to abort, and she, unlike Nora, vowed revenge. Slowly, Ryan's health crumbled. His nights of cruelty returned upon himself. His body weakened until one day, a car accident left him in a wheelchair, broken, bitter, powerless. Alicia stood before him, her eyes blazing. "This is justice, Ryan. You ruined 2 women's lives. Now live as a cripple, a man with nothing but regrets." And with that, she walked away, leaving him screaming, helpless, a prisoner of his own sins. Meanwhile, Nora's fate took a new turn. Her cousin, Armin, a successful businessman abroad, had always admired her in silence. When he learned of her divorce, he came forward with a proposal. At first, Nora resisted. Her heart was scarred, her body weakened, her soul terrified. But Armin's sincerity melted her walls. She confessed, "I can never be a mother." But Armin held her hands firmly. "I don't need children to love you. I need you, Nora, just you." Those words lit a fire of hope in her. They married quietly, and for the first time, Nora felt the warmth of respect. Armin treated her like a queen. No force, no cruelty, only patience and love. Months passed, and one day Nora fainted unexpectedly. At the hospital, the doctor smiled. "Congratulations, you are expecting." Shock and tears filled Nora's eyes. She whispered, "But I was told I could never." The doctor replied, "Sometimes destiny writes a different story than medicine predicts." Armand embraced her, whispering, "This is the life you deserve." And for the first time in years, Nora smiled with true joy, knowing her nightmare was over and a new beginning awaited.